Today we're going to continue with lesson 201, writing equations in the slope-intercept form. On Monday we had wrote the equations by using substitution. Today we're going to do it by solving for the y-intercept. Okay, so the first thing that we have to have is a slope. So you're always going to be given a slope. So you're going to be given a slope. And you'll also be given a point. Now, the way the question will look, it'll say you'll be given a slope. So, for example, you're going to have a slope of 1 that goes through and they're going to give you a point, let's say 2 comma 5. Okay, so I'm given that problem and I got to write an equation that represents that. So first thing I got to know is that there's my m and here's my x and here's my y. Now when I write out my y equals mx plus b, the first thing that we're going to do is substitute. So the first thing I'm going to do is substitute. This is what I'm going to substitute for. Everything is given, so I don't really got to find anything. So I'm going to substitute for my y. Guess what my y is? It is 5. So I'm going to write down 5 equals. My m is given, it's 1. So in this case, I'm going to write my 1. Now my x, I'm always going to put in parentheses. Now I look at my x, guess where I get my x from? The point that's given. My x value is 2. So I put my 2 right in there. And then I just put my plus b, because I don't know what b is. So we're solving for b. So once I substitute, my next step will be multiply. So we're going to multiply. When we were doing our Don't Call Me After Dark, we were clearing the parentheses. And that's why I put those parentheses, so you know that that's the first thing we got to do. So I'll do my 1 times my 2. So my next line will look like 5 equals, in this case it's 2 plus b. Now, my third step is going to be add or subtract. And that's, we always do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract the 2 because I'm trying to isolate the b. So my goal here is to get rid of the 2, which I do. And I do 5 minus 2 and I get 3. Bring down the b. So I just found b. So once I do my add and subtract, that step is done. Then I go to my next step, which is write the equation. So I'm able to write the equation. I'm going to keep it in the y equals mx plus b format. So I write my y equals, my slope is 1, x, my b is plus 3. I don't have to put the 1, so I could also rewrite it as y equals x plus 3. Now, in this next example, they're going to give me a slope of -3, and the x-intercept is -3. I'm still following the same steps. I know that my slope is equal to -3, but what you have to know is that this x-intercept means that this point is -3, 0. So I got my slope and I got my point. Okay, so now I'm ready to follow all the same steps. I know that this is my x, and this guy's my y. So my first step is going to be substitute. And I'm going to substitute, remember we're substituting into the y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute for 3 things: the y, the m, and the x. The x will be put into parentheses. So let's start off with the y. The y value is 0 equals, my slope is -3. In the parentheses will go my x, and my x is also -3. So I substituted. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is going to be multiply. So I'm going to do the -3 times -3. Negative negative gives me a positive. So I'm going to get +9. So my next line is going to be 0 equals 9 plus b. Third step, add or subtract. Remember, my goal is to get the b alone. So I'm going to subtract the 9 from both sides. My goal is to get that, isolate the b. So I need to get rid of that 9, and I do. 0 minus 9 is -9 equals b. I just found b. So my last step, step 4, is to write the equation. So remember, I'm going to use the y equals mx format. So there's my slope is right there, which is -3. That's going here. Put my x right back in there. And I got my y-intercept -9. Done. Okay, you guys are going to try this one. You're going to be given a slope of a -2/3 that goes through point 3, -6. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes. Go ahead and write this one out. See if you could solve for B. Okay, so my first step is going to be substitute. So I got my, go ahead and write it up here, y equals mx plus b. Remember, we're replacing the y, m, and x. So my y is -6. So I put my -6. equals, my slope is negative 2/3. Inside my parentheses goes the 3. Now I know everybody gets all scared because I got a fraction. If it bothers you, just use your calculator to do that. So my second step is going to be multiply. So I got to multiply and clear those parentheses. So I do 2/3 times 3. What's nice about this one is the 3's are going to cancel. So I get negative 6 equals negative 2 plus b. Third step is going to be add or subtract. So I'm going to add that 2, add the 2. My goal is to isolate the b, eliminate the 2, and I did. Negative 6 plus 2, signs are different, so I subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. I get negative 4 equals b. I just found the y-intercept. Step 4 is write the equation. So I'm going to keep the y equals mx plus b, and my y equals, my slope is negative 2/3 x. Now I'm going to put my b in there, which is minus 4. And I got that one done.